What's up, guys? Welcome to Daily Dose of Reddit. This is your host, Zach, and today's subreddit is r/I don't work your lady. This story's called I Set Myself Up. There are a few details you need to know before the story can begin, and I apologize about it being long, but you get to see it in real time. I lived in a town that was kind of out of the way that was separated into distinct areas. One was the general populace trying to get out of LA. Another was the retired upper middle class trying to get out of LA and thought they were cowboys. Second, I have anxiety, so every day is an adventure for me. Glass half full. This gets me into trouble at stores because I act awkward as hell. People don't think, "Aw, they're shy, how cute." They see me and are like, "They be stealing, look at that sweaty mess." Lastly is that I was born a woman but could easily pass as a drag queen because of my size and appearance. Why does this matter? They don't make girly shoes in my size. Sometimes I can squeeze into a size 12, sometimes. Why does that matter? That's why we are here this day. I was in a small department store, the only one in town, and had done my usual. Find every size 12 that I like the look of and throw it in a cart, go over to a bench and try them all on. None of them fit, put them all back. This particular day, I had just gotten off of work and was in my black polo shirt and work pants, putting a stack of shoes back onto a shelf. I felt it coming from a mile away, so I looked around and accidentally made eye contact with a lady in her early 50s. Oops. "Would you be willing to see if they have the other color on the back?" Customer service tone of "not my department," with a smile, "I don't work here." "Oh, I thought you did." She squints at me, and I smile back. Employee rushes over and glares at me. "I can help you, ma'am." I walked away feeling like a jerk because despite the fact this happens a lot, I'm still not good at reacting to it. That feeling didn't last long. I must have combed over the whole clothing section, women's and men's, desperate for anything that would fit me. When I realize, I feel like I have been having to sidestep the same person over and over again. I wasn't sure if it was her because I was tired, so I walked to the other end of the section. I almost run into someone. I look up and it's the same lady, so I go to the men's section. I look up and she's in the women's section across the aisle. We made eye contact. I'm starting to get a little stressed. I have anxiety, so I was trying to convince myself that what I was feeling wasn't rational, that it was happenstance and that I shouldn't be scared of an old lady. But what if she was crazy and decided to stab me? I say to myself, but what if she says I touched her butt? I look like a man, they would believe her. I say back to myself, all you have to do is prove that you're a girl. Not before the police tackle me and are forced to fill me up to prove it. Okay, you're right. I'm clean. Please don't touch me. Let's just leave. But I still need shampoo. Hurry up. Calm down. Hey, what if it's that lady who asked you if you worked here? That'd be funny. Hurry up. Basically, I did a bang-up job of calming myself down. I race over to the soap section across the store, looking all around me to make sure she wasn't there. I grabbed my shampoo and started fast walking to the register when boom, there she is again, walking the opposite way. I mentally scream and we make eye contact and she makes a face like she just missed catching me as I take a wide berth around her. This store is known for being slow, but I try to pick the shortest line. I could tell that the people around me knew there was something wrong with me. I don't know if I was having an actual low-grade panic attack or if my face was just super flushed. The guy in front of me starts getting rung up when I feel a cart bump into me. I look up and it's the freaking lady. And I must have had a mortified look on my face because she kinda sees it and puts her head down. I'm done. I'm panicking and a high blood pressure filled haze. I look at the register, willing her to save me, call security, anything. I was probably super red and sweaty because she asked awkwardly, "Just off work?" Yeah, it was rough. Suddenly thinking about the hell that was work that day. The lady kinda scoots forward like she was going to interject. "Yeah, what do you do?" Oh, I did not want this lady behind me to know where I work because she's gonna stab me. "Oh, I'm a cook." Not lying, I just cook fast food. The cashier recognizing my name tag, "Oh, you work at Redacted. Hey, do you know Crystal? She used to work there." Me, shook. Yeah, she's my manager over there." Realizing what I had done, I look back at the lady who had stepped back and was looking down, red-faced. The rest of the order goes smoothly, and I get outside and just sit on the bench because I didn't want her to know what my car looked like. She comes out, we make eye contact again, and she even turned redder and slinks off to get to her car and drives off. I sit there for a minute, both because I'm still scared and pretty sure I just had a low-grade panic attack. I go through the stages of grief. Shook, despair, sadness, anger, and logic. That bimbo was following me, trying to keep an eye on me so that when she finally found someone who worked there, she could tell them that I had lied to her about not working there. And when she realized her mistake, she got slightly embarrassed and scuttled away. Meanwhile, she gave me a panic attack, and there are no repercussions. Needless to say, I went home and this story's called, "I work here, but that's not my job." I work at a fairly well-known tutoring center around my area. Our rates are pretty high, but we still get a lot of clients because we offer a very specialized program. I work here as an administrator as a part-time job, while earning my degree in the business field. I handle a lot of office work, as well as delegating the center as a whole. On what would have been a nice Tuesday afternoon, the devil Karen has finally made an appearance in my life. Here's the cast. Me, Karen, awful lady. Around 2:20, an hour before my center officially opens for students, Karen and her son, maybe 8 to 10, walks into the center. Not only that, she barges into my office without knocking or even a warning. I figure she must be in a rush, so I go out and greet her the way I typically do. "Hello, welcome to Learning Center. My name is OP. How can I help you today?" "I want to enroll my son here." "Okay, that would be no problem. Is there a program specifically you're looking for?" "Obviously, you think I'd take him here if he didn't need help?" "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. That's not what I meant." I start listing our services provided and tell them that there are steps to apply such as an assessment test, a deposit, and an appointment slot because our sessions are appointments only. I also mention our fees because they are slightly higher than other nearby learning centers. With no regard to the information I'd given her, Karen then proceeds to walk him out of my office and through the door to the class where most of our tutoring sessions take place. My tutors who are in there prepping their lesson plans for the day look at me confused, whereas I just shook my head. She tells him to sit down and that she will be back. Karen turns to me and says, "Okay, now go teach him. I'll be back in an hour and I don't want any of those lazy tutors. I want you." "Sorry, I'm afraid I can't do that. I'm not actually a tutor. I'm an administrator here and handle primarily the paperwork." "Stop being so lazy. Why would you get a job at a learning center if you're not gonna teach?" At this point, my patience was almost non-existent. We weren't open for another hour and all our appointment slots were already filled for the day. I know there was nothing I could really do to get rid of her since her stubborn ass was already beginning to walk out of the room. Okay, I'll tutor him, but at a rate of $250 an hour. Her mouth drops and she starts rambling about how that isn't what I said earlier and how dare I raise the price on it now. "You requested me specifically, and since I don't work as a tutor, I will need to promptly be compensated. I will also need a fee for $50 since you did not make an appointment beforehand." She starts turning red and going off about how no one has ever disrespected her this way and proceeds to threaten to take action by ratting me out to my manager. I walk away only to grab a card that has my manager's number. I give it to her and tell her to have a good day. She walks out with her son, fuming. Sorry it's not as interesting as other stories out there, but it's the first time anything like this had happened to me. Now, I'm of the opinion that not every story needs to have the hefty death toll that every other story tends to have, so I appreciate the realism your story provides, sir or ma'am. This story's called You Don't Work For Us ×2. This is kind of a weird one, so apologies if it doesn't fit exactly. When I was a kid, my mom worked from home and we had a telephone with 2 lines going into it, one for the house and one for her work. We also used to have a Green Giant a couple towns over. The last 2 digits of our phone numbers were transposed, 16 for us and 61 for them. About twice a month, someone would call at any and all hours of the day and night asking if they had to come in or what time they should be there. Being that my mom had her business, when this first started, she was confused as hell. Most people would naturally apologize profusely, but a lot of times people would hang up, then immediately call back again because of a misdial. It went on for 8 years. At some point, Mom started screwing with the people and telling them that they could have the day off, or that they should come in when they didn't have to. In hindsight, I guess that was kinda mean, but she did call Green Giant to complain nicely that their employees were derps. Then we moved out of state. She got a new number for the business and people immediately started calling asking if they could come in for a job interview, what time we open or close, and if the position was still available. Of course, Mom would reply with, "No, we're not hiring," and everything she thought was aimed toward her business like her actual business hours, 10 to 5, closed weekends. The best ones were the people who would flip their lid that, "OMG, that's not enough time to see and enjoy everything with my family," and hang up in a huff. The amount of these huffs was amazing considering we thought they were asking about our little retail/art store. It went on like this for a couple of weeks before finally she got out of someone that they were looking for the general information for Dollywood. Think like a tiny Six Flags theme park. Again, the numbers were almost identical, which was only made worse one summer when the local newspaper printed the wrong number for Dollywood in their want ads. People were downright mean, like the screw-up was our fault. I answered phones a lot working that summer too. Some would not accept it wasn't the business that they thought they were calling, despite us answering with our business name. Others argued that what they called was the right number, so clearly it was our mistake we didn't get the hiring memo. I guess they thought we were a department of Dollywood? And how dare we slander poor Dolly's name like that, pretending to be her business? After about 3 months of dealing with crap and insults, Mom changed her number. We did call the paper to ask if they'd fix the newspaper ad, but they never did despite saying they would. To this day, I'm paranoid of answering numbers I don't recognize. Okay, so this was actually a very unique twist to the whole "I don't work here lady" formula, I guess. It's cool seeing stories like these, and it kind of reminds me of my current number, which I've had since 2014? Anyways, the dude who had my number previously, his name is Rich or Richard, whichever one. And consistently, I think the last time I got a text was like last month or something. Every once in a while, I'll get a text saying, "Hey Rich, da-da-da-da-da." I'm just like, dude, how have you not texted this dude for like 5 years and now you're texting him again? Like, the messages I would get, they're super casual, okay? And so I've had this number for 5 years, and if they haven't texted him for 5 years, why are they being so casual? Okay, if you're being that casual, you should know that this is not his number anymore, right? Like I'll get something like, "Hey, what are you doing for dinner?" or something like that. Or one time I got a super dramatic message, and I was like, dude, it was a freaking essay filled with unparalleled vulgarity. Okay, it was just insane, but it was kind of funny because he was like, "Anyways, Rich, don't believe anything this dude's saying," or something like that. And I was like, this isn't rich, this is poor. It's just the juxtaposition was so funny because the original message was like 3 Odyssey lengths long, and I'm like, this isn't rich, this is poor. I don't know, I'm funny. This story's called "I'm Here for an Interview. I Don't Work Here, Ma'am." This happened a while ago, and I thought, why not talk about it? The thing was that I'm in the hospitality industry. Not gonna state which exactly, but the idea is that the place is really classy, expensive, and is at a touristy area. For my interview, I technically had to talk to the HR manager first before talking to the department manager. After talking to the HR manager, I was brought to this room where it was not too filled with customers. But the main idea is that there's people. I had to wait for the department manager to come, so the first bright idea was that, oh, why not explore the room? HR was cool with me exploring the room. Now, I was exploring the room, pretty amazed with the stuff there. The service-scape and the ambiance was really nice and all, and I was looking around when I walked past this lady. The lady suddenly called me and asked, "Can you get me a glass of water for my child?" I was honestly really surprised since the clothes I was wearing was not similar to the place's uniform at all. I was wearing a black blazer, formal and all, but the employees' uniforms were not black. Well, I couldn't say I was working here because that might cause the lady to explode at me when I was at an interview. I decided to get a glass of water for the child, making sure it was not too full and that the child was holding the glass with 2 hands. The lady followed by asking if she could have some creamer. Now I looked at the table. There were no creamers. I don't know where it is. I don't work here. I said sure and asked for one of the employees to get creamer for the lady instead. I immediately went to sit down and just wait after that. It was really awkward. I didn't really know what to do after that, honestly. Surprisingly enough, while I was still waiting for the department manager, the lady was nice enough to come close to where I was sitting and said sorry to me. I just acknowledged it and said no worries and all, but it was just awkward after that. Cut to the ending. I am hired by the place, but I will be working in another department instead. I'm honestly happy since the other department looks really tiring but fun to work at. I'm honestly thankful that I'm hired now, so cool. This story's called "Didn't Get Arrested Because the Officer Thought I Did Work There." This happened about 6 years ago, right before my old car gave up the ghost. The turn signal knob had gotten caught on my coat about a week prior to this and had snapped completely off, sadly taking with it my ability to turn on my headlights. I was leaving my job that night and had to be parked up the road. As I had needed to do for the previous week, I brought a pair of needle-nosed pliers with me so that I could jam them in the steering column where the turn signal knob used to be and manually turn on the headlights. As luck would have it, I had a bit of trouble getting them on that night but managed to turn them on right as a police cruiser drove past me on the road. Must have seen my ass half hanging out of the car, jamming something into the steering column because as he rounded the corner and went out of sight, I saw reflections of red and blue lights flashing in the trees. Not putting 2 and 2 together, I hopped all the way in and got buckled up and shut the door. Next thing I know, I saw that same car go whooshing past me at top speed in the opposite direction. Still not figuring it out, I just pulled out and started heading home. In my rearview mirror, I saw the cop slam on his brakes and pull a U-turn right as I started to pull into the gas station a few doors down from my job. As I get out of the car, the cop comes flying up into the parking lot and locks it up right behind my car. Then he rolls down the window, squints at me and says, "Whoa, I guess you do work here, huh?" And then he backs out and leaves. It wasn't until I went into the gas station that I realized he thought I was stealing that car. But when he saw me in my khaki slacks and red polo shirt, exactly like the cashier was, he figured nobody would steal a car to drive to work. I almost got arrested, but I was saved because I didn't work there. But I looked like I did. You see, with that title, I was going into the story expecting a crime story where he actually does do something wrong, but the cop was like, "Oh, he works here, he's not doing anything wrong," and then you let him go. But I'm glad it wasn't actually like that.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to never miss an episode.